Thank you for joining us today. My name is Marion, and today I have the privilege of speaking with the legendary investor and author Jim Rogers, who is widely known for his insightful perspectives on economic trends and market behavior.
First, I will tell you I am delighted to be here. I am flattered, and it's my honor. But I will also tell you that I make many mistakes. You know, I've been making mistakes all my life.
Before we dive deep into the subject, I have a few questions. You can pick one and answer if you want to. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Jim. Pick 5 words that describe your thoughts on the Trump's tariff.
The Trump's tariffs?
For you.
Absurd.
Okay.
Have to have 5 words?
If you can.
Absurd, ignorant, and disaster.
Okay, it was a little game to begin. Every other news article is about Trump's tariffs, trade wars, a looming recession, and volatile markets. What's your take on what we're seeing in the markets now? Do you think this is simply a cyclical period of volatility?
Well, if you have been around a long time like I have, or forget that, if you have read a lot of history, you know that trade wars and tariffs usually do not work. They help a few people sometimes for a few days or a few weeks, but they've never been successful in changing trade patterns or anything else. They have never led to great riches. Maybe some pirates have had great riches, but tariffs have not ever done, rarely if ever done much to change the world, unless they lead to war.
Mm-hmm. Considering how Trump imposed tariffs and then announced delays after countries reach out to engage into negotiations, do you see tariffs being used more as a bargaining tool in trade talks and a way to address U.S. trade deficits?
Well, that's what politicians often say. They say that this is for negotiation or for trading, but no, they usually think that they're doing a good thing. They usually have some friends or constituents that they think they can help with tariffs or trade wars. But I repeat, very, very few trade wars, tariffs and trade wars have been successful in history. Mm-hmm. If you want to have a war, they're very good at starting a war, but that's about all.
What's your perspective on how these tariffs are reshaping global trade?
Well, I'm not sure that they will. Mr. Trump thinks they're going to reshape global trade so that America has a big surplus, but in my view, that's not going to happen.
The U.S. and China are going back and forth with their tariff hikes. Do you think the U.S.-China trade tensions we're seeing now in 2025 are more severe than the trade war back in 2018?
All trade wars are serious, especially if you're on the other side. I suspect this is more serious because Mr. Trump has in his head that he needs to do something dramatic, and he thinks the trade wars will be dramatic and the tariffs will be dramatic. Well, the answer to your question is this is probably more serious than the last time because Mr. Trump has in his head he has to do something dramatic.
What do you make of the bond market sell-off in the last couple of days, and could it be the start of a Sell America phase?
I doubt if it's a sell America phase yet. That will come because America is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. And unfortunately, there's going to come a time when people will sell America. You know, 100 years ago, Britain was the richest, most powerful country in the world. They went bankrupt 50 years later. And there came a time when everybody sold Britain, even though it had been the #1 country in the world. But everybody knew they had to get out of Britain, and they did. We have not faced those days yet for America, but unfortunately, I know they're coming because the debt goes higher and higher and higher in the U.S. When I look at the numbers, I'm I'm shocked because I think the people in Washington must know the numbers. Maybe they don't. That would be worse. Maybe they don't know the numbers, but the numbers are incomprehensible. It's unbelievable how deep the American debt is and how high it continues to go.
Now let's talk more about changing investment strategies and trading opportunities. My first question is, for an investment standpoint, which sectors or asset classes will be in focus with Trump in power?
Well, I sold nearly all of my investments, my stock market investments, 2 or 3 months ago. I still have a little in China, a little bit in Uzbekistan, but I basically sold out of everywhere because I expect serious problems to come to most investment markets in the world. So I don't ask me where to put your money. Well, I will say I put my money in U.S. dollars. So I own a lot of U.S. dollars, and I'm sitting here watching now. Less pained about U.S. dollars, so I guess that means I am most optimistic about U.S. dollars. Yes, U.S. dollars. Well, I have some gold and silver. I'll keep it in my pocket. Gold and silver I own. I have bought more silver recently. I hope that my children own my gold and silver someday, because in my view, everybody should have some gold and silver as protection, as insurance, if nothing else. And when the world comes to an end, you're going to be glad you have some silver in the closet. You're going to be glad you have some gold under the bed. Because throughout history, gold and silver and a couple of other things have maintained their value and helped preserve your wealth. They've always been. You remember Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ was sold for 30 pieces of silver, because in those days, silver was the main store of value. The United States was actually founded on a silver standard, changed to gold 100 years later, but we were a silver country for many years. So gold and silver have had value for centuries, and in my view, they will continue to have value, maybe because people don't know anything else, but I own gold and silver and hope that I'm smart enough to buy more. And I hope that my children have my gold and silver someday. Okay. And I will repeat that gold and silver have always maintained their value. Whether they should or not is another discussion, but they always have for hundreds of years. So I own some gold and silver.
Are there specific asset classes that traders will find greater opportunities in? How can investors adjust their strategies?
Well, I mean, if I were a trader, and I'm not, I'm more an investor than a trader, I would look for things to sell short, because I expect the markets to be bad for a while. I suspect we're going to have very bad stock markets for a long time. So if I were a trader, I would learn to sell short and start selling short. And the stocks I would probably sell short are the stocks, those stocks that were very hot in the last few days of the bull market, the technology stocks. That's usually when the markets are going down, the best thing to do is to short the hot stocks in the last bull market. And these days, there are many ways to short the market. There are ETFs, exchange-traded funds. You can short the ETFs for industries, or often for companies. There are many ways to short the market now. I would say learn about ETFs and find the ones that you know are going to have problems and short those ETFs. You can short baskets of stocks for the market. You can short in the U.S. market. You can short baskets of stocks, the S&P 500, for instance. You can short a basket of the S&P 500. You can short a basket of automobiles. You can short a basket of nearly everything. So short those baskets if you don't know specific companies. But if you don't know specific companies, you probably shouldn't be shorting. investing is not an easy game. It looks easy. Everybody says how easy it is. Everybody says, I could have bought Apple. No, they couldn't, or they would have if they could have bought Apple long ago. Most people just do not know enough. But if you do know enough about some industries or some companies that you know are going to have problems, sell them short. You can make a lot of money and protect yourself if you know how to sell short. And everybody who invests should learn to sell short because it's an important part of the investing business. Well, all investors, if they want to be successful, they should not listen to other people, including me. They should invest only in what they themselves know a lot about. Everybody watching this knows a lot about something. I don't know what it is, but they know something. And that's where they should start. They should start looking at the areas where they know a lot, figure out what's good in that area, and that's where they should invest. They should not listen to hot tips. They should not listen to hot tips from anybody, because hot tips will ruin them. They should just stay with what they know. Now, sometimes when I tell people that, they say, oh, that's boring. If you want to be successful, be boring. Be a boring investor, and you will be very successful. Oh my, and everybody will love you. Everybody will love you.
Through your career, you've had a reputation for taking long-term views on investments. How do you see this volatility caused by Trump affecting your long-term investment philosophy?
Well, I usually would not change my investment outlook because of a person. Now, if the person is extremely powerful and makes big changes, of course I would have to. But no, I don't. Mr. Trump doesn't really know what he wants to do. He knows he wants to do many things. He wants to do many changes. But I don't think Mr. Trump really has an over. Do you remember Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher was somebody that if something happened, we would more or less know what she would do because we know how she thought. I don't think Mr. Trump has an overriding thought process, so I'm not sure what he will do. I don't think he knows what he will do.
You think?
So that is a problem for a potential investor. But for me, I have mainly U.S. dollar cash. I have some Chinese investments, Uzbekistan investments, but other than that, I'm mainly watching right now. If Mr. Trump puts those tariffs in, and if they go through, which they probably will, it's not going to help anybody in the world. It's certainly not going to help most Chinese shares, because Chinese investors will, the Chinese economy and Chinese investors will be hurt. And maybe I should sell my Chinese investments, but my plan for my Chinese investments is that they'll be for my children someday. I expect China, in the next 100 years, I expect China to be the most important country in the world, or the most extremely successful country in the world. So my plan is that someday my children will say, oh, look at all these Chinese shares we have. We're rich. That's my plan. But don't think that's necessarily going to work that way just because it's my plan. I've seen many plans go wrong. Everybody has great plans until you get smacked in the face. Then you change your plan. You have to change your plans. For me, fundamental analysis is the best. It's extremely important. And if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing anything. And fundamental analysis, fundamental research teaches you about companies and about industries. And if you're going to be investing, you should know what you're doing. And that includes fundamental analysis. Now, there are people who are good at technical analysis. I'm not, but if you are, you should do it. I know some very, very rich people who made their money on technical analysis. So if you're good at it, please do it. And then call me and take me to dinner. My main impression is Mr. Trump doesn't really have a guiding philosophy. He just watches TV, and whatever somebody says that day that he likes, that's what he does. That's his new plan. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that. Margaret Thatcher, I knew what she would say. You know, if the world came to an end, I knew what Margaret Thatcher would do. If the world comes to an end, I'm not sure what Mr. Trump would do. And I don't know that he knows. But if you can figure it out, then you should act. But please do not act unless you know, unless you've done a lot of research to know what you're doing. This is not easy. Gold and silver, shorting the market is different, but you can short gold and silver. If you think that gold and silver are going to go down in value, it's very easy to sell them short. I am not short gold and silver. I own gold and silver. But yes, if you are looking for, but usually the best shorts in the market are the stocks that have been really hot. You know, you look back over the past bull market and you find the stocks that were really hot. Oof, those are the stocks that are the best shorts. And I don't know what they are now. I know what the could be, it should be, but I'm not shorting right now.
So, Jim, do you think a recession is coming?
I know a recession is coming, yes. First of all, America has had recessions every few years since the beginning of the country. Everybody has had recessions every few years, and we're going to have another one. Right now, it's the longest period in American history without a recession, so I know a recession is coming. Probably, we might even be in one right now. It may have already started, but I know the answer to your question is I know we're going to have more recessions. I hope I live long enough to see many recessions. I hope you live long enough to see many, many recessions.
Okay. We've created a rapid fire round. I will give you 2 words and you need to pick one, right?
I need to pick one word.
Yes. If I tell you Apple or Amazon?
Apple.
S&P 500 or Dow Jones?
S&P.
Singapore or New York?
Oh, Singapore.
Tech stocks or bank stocks? Tech stocks?
Sorry,
my French accent, you see.
Stock, I would say bank stocks.
Okay. Silver or crude oil?
What?
Silver or
Silver.
Crude oil? USD or Japanese yen?
USD.
For younger investors who are just starting to navigate markets impacted by these political and economic factors, what advice would you give them for the next decade? Be boring and then maybe something else.
I would say be boring, stay with what you know. I don't know what you know. Maybe it's automobiles, maybe it's fashion, whatever it is. Doesn't matter to me. Stay with it. Everything you know has something there, whether it's fashion or cars or sport, whatever it is, there's something that is going to be successful. It has successful companies in that field. That's where you stay, and that's how you will be successful. And if it's fashion, do it. Invest in fashion. If it's cars, do it. Whatever it is, stay with what you know. Don't listen to me. Stay with what you know.
What are 3 tips for someone new to markets, or what book would you recommend for people starting out?
If you're new to the markets, there's only one thing you must do, and that's stay with what you know. Don't listen to other people. Don't go down to the bar on Saturday night and listen to hot tips. You'll get a lot of hot tips. Many people will give you hot tips. Ignore them. Ignore all the hot tips. They will ruin you. Just stay with what you know. Everybody watching this knows a lot about something. Stay with what you know. And you're going to say to me, that's boring. Be boring. If you want to be a successful investor, be boring. Stay with what you know. And don't try something that you don't know. It will ruin you.
We've come to the end of this interview. Jim, thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure to talk with you.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks very much for watching. I think we've learned a lot.